I am Marcus James Dixon with Gold Derby, and we would like to welcome Megan Michaels Wolflick, the showrunner and executive producer of American Idol on ABC. So, Megan, let's start right away with our most recent winner, Abi Carter. How do you think she stacks up against this iconic American Idol winners list that you all have created over the past 22 seasons?
Yeah, Abby, I think I mean it's exciting to have a girl winner, and someone that really brought it from her first audition. I think she really had a magic moment when she first auditioned with What Was I Made For in LA for the judges, and I think she only grew from there. So it's always nice to have. I think Luke called her. He said that could be the winner right there, and that's always a nice moment. Plus she was our first winner who was a platinum ticket holder, which was also exciting to know that the judges, banked on her early and it all worked out.
Mm. Yeah, my colleague Denton Davidson wrote an article on how she was the first platinum ticket, and I didn't know it until he mentioned that. This
Yeah.
kind of makes the twists, all the more important as we go forward. Like the contestants now are going to be like, oh my gosh, if you get that, maybe you have a better chance of winning.
Yeah, I think it's always hard because you never know. It's a gamble. Who's America going to respond to? Or is someone one trick pony in a way? Because the thing is that you're only hearing it on one song, and you have that kind of immediate instinct of wait, hang on a minute, this has something special. So I think yes, I think there's a lot of exciting momentum that we have with Hunter Girl also got it a few years ago. She came in second, so this is
Mm.
the first person to win. Very exciting.
And you have worked on this show in various capacities since 2003.
Mhm.
So I guess my question, how do you keep things fresh and lively after all of this time? I mean, season 22, that's a pretty big number.
Yeah, it's amazing. And I think the thing is this show is a brand. It is a trusted brand. I do feel like it is in my mind the NFL of singing shows as far as you come to us because you trust in the process. It's
Mhm.
it's a show about the finalists. It's not a show about celebrities. It's a show about the Cinderella story. And it always is exciting to me as we close a chapter on a season to think, oh, there's a bunch more Christmas presents under the tree. I have no idea what's in any of them. And that's what keeps me so excited about this show 20 years on because
Mhm.
it's never boring. It's never old. It's never hackneyed. And if it was that, then it'd probably be time to hang up the hat. But until then, I am more excited now than I ever was about the show.
Yeah. I've been a fan since season one. I voted for Kelly Clarkson, redial at that season one finale. I'm curious, do you have a favorite performance of all time? I think mine would be Adam Lambert singing Mad World. That was just such a monumental moment for me. Do you have a fave?
I do, but it's a little obscure. It's a little obscure. Uh,
Okay.
it's Joshua Ladette's Up to the Mountain that he did in a Vegas round. And it was Joshua Ledette that season. Obviously, Philip and Jessica were also amazing. But I love Joshua. He always brought so much to the stage. So I still will go on YouTube and watch it here and there.
I love that. So there was some big news at the judges' table this year. Katy Perry announced her departure, and she got this lovely tribute in the season finale. What was your initial reaction when Katy said, I'm done. This is it. 7 years. I'm gonna take a break.
Yeah. Well, I think obviously we've grown so close, and I think Katie would never have thought back when she first began her journey on Idol that it was going to be 7 years. And it was an evolution, and I understand her need and want to get back out there, tour, put an album out. That's the first love. But I know, to quote her song, it's never really over. Maybe, who knows? I mean, people have come back to the show before, so I felt like it's time for a new era. And again, the show is about the finalists. The
Mm.
judges do help carry the journey of the winner of the finalists, but it's really at the end of the day about the talent. So Katie made an indelible mark in American Idol history, no doubt. But we are excited that the show continues on.
Yeah, I definitely will miss her. I think she's probably my favorite judge after Simon Cowell. I mean,
Oh,
I didn't know much about her when she came on, but instantly, just her personality. I think she also brought out the best of Lionel and Luke. I think they were a really great trio.
I agree. And they had so much chemistry, and they had so, I mean, the fact that they would hang out and have dinner offset says a lot, right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, can you tell us anything about the job search to replace Katy,
I
or is
mean,
that kind of hush
no,
hush?
I mean, I don't, there's no news to report. All I know is that there's a big, a lot of pressure on continuing the legacy and carving out the next chapter. But it's an exciting search, I think. I don't know. I mean, it's like it's into the unknown at the moment, but we will hopefully have news. We're gonna have to have news soon.
Hmm. Maybe you could do another reality show, American Idol judge, try to find the next judge.
Can you, yeah, give us your reaction? But there's a lot of rumors going on, which is, I guess, flattering to the brand that people are talking about. People wanting to be on the show, and it's exciting.
So American Idol continues to be the #1 social media TV series every year. Why do you think the fans are so passionate about this show, especially, compared to other shows that don't get the social traffic?
I think I don't know, people get fired up, and it's such shareable, snackable content that I think people really get invested, and they like to rewatch things. I think also is the thing. When you watch a performance live on the show, they go back and I watch this and they're sharing it with someone else, and I feel like it's the ultimate investment since back when Kelly Carey, it's like you've spent so much time investing and voting in people that you want to carry it on. You have a certain investment in that person, and you want to rewatch all their stuff, or you want to interact with it, you want to follow them. It's a lot of those things. We see we get the like 50 most social talent of the night, and oftentimes a lot of our finalists are in that top 50 along with like giant celebrities. So clearly there's a special sauce in wanting that connection, and it is special to be able to you know have it span that way, and you can watch it on TikTok, you can watch it on Facebook, you can watch it anywhere, and it's still fun.
And we talked about Abby Carter already. Let's talk a little about Will Mosley, the second place, the country singer he had said that, I'm going to give it 1 year to do music and then, we'll see what happens. I think he had a good year.
Yeah, I mean, literally, I think when we first, so the way that Idol works is we audition people in the summer. So by the time we first meet them to the time where they win the show or second place in the show, it's almost a year. So when we met Will, he had just began this journey, and he told us at the time, he's like, oh, I think I might want to get into nursing or and I'm like, what? And he's like, well, I really haven't sang that many times in front of people. And I remember meeting him in Leesburg at Luke's high school in a band room, and he's like, well, I really haven't played any shows. And I was like, you haven't? Like, you see the way that you're carrying yourself is not like that. So he had it, like, I don't know, he was someone that was so consistent from day one, and I love that he auditioned with his original song Gone for Good, and then he was able to sing that throughout the show, and it made it to #2 on the country charts, and
Wow.
he's a true artist, I think.
My personal favorite of the year was Jack Blocker. And
Walker.
I loved his story. I've never seen a story like this on Idol where the judges basically say, try out again next year. And then the crew members are like, no, no, you can't let this guy go. Like, talk about that moment.
Yeah, it was again, what I think is a really landmark cornerstone thing about American Idol is that nothing is scripted, right? So it's not like we know how any of these moments are going to work out in the room, and I think as producers, there's people that we think have a lot of talent. Jack, we had met last summer, we thought he was great, he had a really good original songs, and he walked in the room, and it was like Luke said yes, and the other two said no, and we were all like, what? Like, we were all shocked, and even though he was in the first audition episode, he was the third to last person. So it
Hmm.
actually went Jack Blocker, and then someone, and then Julia Gagnon. So literally, he was the third to last person, and we were kind of like, wait a minute, and we don't have a quota for Hollywood Week, so we're like, how is this guy not going? And then that's when Katie's assistant and her managers were like, this is ridiculous, we're coming upstairs, and it became this thing where I was like, well, do you want to? Should we? Am I missing something here? And then we were all, and again, we were just going with it, and it was like, yeah, maybe you are, and that was it. It was wild, but I think he is someone who grew in the competition. I think he got better and better and better, And I think by the end, he really carved out who he is. And I think he's going to be a big success.
Hmm. You guys had a top 10 American Idol kind of party for the press, a
Mhm.
reception, and I went to that and I met him there and I'm like, I think you're gonna win. I think you're gonna win. I was close. I mean, he was third place, so
He was third place. I mean, that's
yeah.
the thing. He was third place. I think, um, Abby was someone who got, I think her momentum, I think she grew and grew and grew. And I think, when she did, Bed of Roses in the finale, and it was a really iconic, special moment. And I think, and Jack, I don't know. I mean, I'm proud that he made it to third. From getting a
Mhm.
no to making it to
Yeah.
third place is pretty epic, right?
Is there another audition that really affected you emotionally that you'd like to talk about right now?
Oh, from this season or
Yeah,
from
from this season.
yeah, I think, the McKenna story, I know that sounds like probably, very obvious, but that story of just reuniting, or not reuniting because she's never met them before, just having her meet her birth family for the first time in the room as part of
Hmm.
the moment, and having her not even know anything about it, I think was really special. And I think it was that moment in the room where we were all feeling it. We all had the chills.
Hmm.
We all felt like this is incredible. And when she sang her mom's song right then and there, it was like, how is this even happening? So I think that moment was just really, that's the stuff that you never, like when I'm going out in a search for, let's say, next season, you just never know what you're going to get. And you never know people's stories and the way they want to share it. I don't want to be manipulative. I don't want to, tell the viewer how they should feel. But that in that moment, I think everyone connected. Even if you don't have an adoption story, you still felt like you saw
Hmm.
something kind of that was part of yourself.
Yeah, and people were sharing that video like crazy. People that don't even watch Idol were sharing it.
Yeah, it was like the Ian moment from the year before.
Mm. So Hollywood Week went through some major changes this year. You had the brand new Idol Arena, this huge set piece, and there was also the biggest cut in American Idol history. What
Correct.
can you tell us about these changes? Is it just a way of keeping the show fresh?
Yeah, it's definitely keeping the show fresh, but it's also, built around my personal curiosity, because I was thinking, we see in years past, you see the other finalists in the audience, right? They're all sitting there, but you never, like, they're clapping, they're interacting, but you're never really getting what they think, or getting that, it's like they're a hired audience as opposed to actually in the competition. So I said, what if you just surrounded your competition around you, and you actually like could hear what they're saying to each other about their competition. But then also, I love the idea of not knowing when you're going to perform, and not knowing, that,
Mm,
oh, it's me. I'm not, and I feel like there's such a get yourself together, but that's probably kind of how the real world works. Everything's not going to be always, you know what I mean? You might have to spontaneously do something. So I feel like these were real practical, things that might happen to them in the future that I wanted to explore. And I think I would love to do it again, because I really thought it was kind of interesting as a
mhm,
social experiment. But the biggest cut also came just from the fact that, like, the cream rises to the top in a way,
mhm.
as far as knowing, who's carving out an identity for themselves. And I think it worked out this year.
Ryan Seacrest has been the host of American Idol since season one, day one. What do
Yeah.
you think he brings to the show that nobody else could have done?
So not only is he an incredible host, especially in the live,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, he doesn't wear an earpiece. He doesn't, like, I think it's his history in radio that allows him to know timings and know, like, kind of be a mathematician in his head, and he's always thinking about things. And I think the radio also just gave him the ability to connect to everyone. He literally can speak to a 7-year-old or a 70-year-old, and he has genuine conversations with both of them. He is, in a way, America, right? I mean, he's a fan of music. He's a fan of people. And I think this season was, like, honestly one of his best years. He was so passionate, and he believes in the franchise, and he knows how amazing it is. And I think, I don't know, I don't know of another host who can operate at his level.
Mm. I am a West Coast viewer, so I'm so happy that when the show goes live, that
Yes.
we have live coast to coast viewing and voting. It starts at 5 o'clock here. How did you get ABC to agree to this? And, I'm wondering why other shows haven't followed suit. Was it easy or hard to convince them?
It is hard. It especially with the affiliates. Sundays are easier because it's
Mm,
not going into, you know what I mean? So it's a different the way that it works out with the affiliates. But yeah, I mean, I think it's something that we explore. It's something, it's exciting. I mean, it makes it like an award show, and it makes
yeah.
it really urgent. And I think the real time voting was key because most people vote right after the performance, right? You're not voting the overnight vote, like tapers off after a few hours, but like this is like urgent. You're getting the results. You're moving on. It's exciting. It's a real event. It's a real event, especially like it was so funny too when EM was on last year. It was on at 2 p.m. in Hawaii, so it's like having my
Mm.
lunch. I'm watching American Idol.
Well, the last question, I'm very curious how you think reality TV has changed over the past 2 decades since you've been on Idol. I've kind of noticed that shows have maybe gotten a little bit nicer and more inspirational over the years. Like we don't really see a Simon Cowell type, negative person anymore. What's your take on that?
I think it's just in general, it's the culture in general and what people are able to handle. And Simon at the time, it was a different era. Like if you think about it, it was literally 2002, post 9/11. It was something so left of center, and that had been done. And I think, yeah, I don't know. I mean, reality is such a broad, right? Because you have like Vanderpump, you have Top Chef, you have all these different shows, and I think people still just want to, the aspiration of especially with American Idol, the dream is key. And I think dream crushing is not the business that we're in. Even if you don't make it, you're going to be upset enough, but you don't need to be insulted on your way out. And I think people have kind of come to enjoy that. Even Simon on America's Got Talent now is a different Simon than he was in 2002. So it really is. It's a culture shift, and we have so much negativity and animosity in the world at the moment that when you're going to turn on the television, I think you just want to have a little warm blanket around you.
Well, thank you so much for chatting with us today, Megan. We will see you hopefully at the Emmy Awards. The Emmy nominations are coming up. This was one of your best seasons. I honestly can say that.
Oh, what was your favorite audition? Can I ask that?
From this year, my favorite, I think it has to be Jack, just because I was so outraged by what I was seeing. I'm like, they're literally making him leave and then to come back, back into the room. So it was like this whole
Yeah.
emotional shift. I think he was my favorite.
Oh, I like that. Also, Keiko wasn't even coming to audition either, and it was fun. Those two guys had like
Yeah.
a weird twist of fate, but that's exciting about it. So,
Yeah. You never know with Idol.
well, you never know. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Have a great day.